Dangerous Treasures Workshop. Dangerous Trevor here with an extra special episode like every other extra special episode, making it actually a normal episode. But I think I've covered the semantics of the episode specialities and extra specialities previously, so I'll skip that little period and get you onto the content here. Hit up the flea market the other day, found me some nice little treasures. So let's hit up this treasure right here. Nice little block plane I picked up. Cost me about $8 at the flea market crap stash. What I'm gonna do right now, clean off my workbench, get it all tuned up. It looks like it hasn't been used since, I don't know, mid-80s. It's in pretty good shape, not a whole lot of rust on it. We'll go into that in a little bit more depth, but for now we gotta have a space to actually do this on. The coronavirus, duh. Alright, here she is, boys and girls, the block plane we have so lovingly described already. You can see they put a sticker on it already. Of course, that's gotta come off. This bottom sole has to be completely flat and perfect and slidey. And a sticker's gonna get in the way of that. Also gonna pull out this blade. This blade, I can guarantee you, requires a little bit of sharpening, so we'll do that up on the wet slow grinder. I use the wet slow grinder for the straight flat blades, but we'll do that in a second here. You can see it. It's pretty simple. It doesn't have a lot of adjustments on it. Probably the only adjustment is going to be done with a hammer, tapping it right there. Get the blade right on the back side just to feed a little more in or out. I don't actually see a brand name anywhere on here. If we find one, we'll point it out. But until then, I'm going to assume that this is just some early foreign manufactured stuff. Interesting. I've actually seen several of these on the internet. These are very easy to find. And actually at the price that I spent on it. But most places where you buy this on the internet, you got to pay shipping. I didn't have to pay shipping at the crap store flea market. Okay. Let's just undo this little tension knob down here. Get that undo. Pull that blade out. That's not too bad. Get a little bit of that rust off. Before I get that sharpened up, I'll just hit that up a little bit of 400. Here's my, I don't know, I guess this is what we call the chip breaker. Pull this out. I'll get some lubricant in there, clean that up a bit. That knob, I don't know, I'm probably just gonna use that. Here's the base itself. It's got that retaining bar. It's got the tension sucking post. All I can see are the numbers C2 and 5 on there. Let's start by working on the bottom of this, shall we? Bottom. Alright, here's our sole. Gotta get that sticker off. See if I can't do that just with a questionable knife. God dang. Yes, the sole is a convenient place to put a sticker. But if you put stickers on soles, well, I can't tell if there's a cobbler joke there or a church joke there. Just get that all the way off there. It's about as good as I'll be able to get, I think. Next, I'm going to check up the truing of this sole, see how flat it is. If it's good and flat, I'm just going to get the rest of that off with a little bit of that WD-40, some 400 grit sandpaper. If it's not true, well, I'll run a file across it a couple of times, see if I can't get it flat. It looks like this was taken pretty well care of. Seems like it was used a bit too. The throat isn't quite even. If you look real close, you probably won't be able to tell on camera, so I'm just going to tell you. This side is slightly more open than this side, so this saw use. You always got tools for checking truing. I'm just gonna use this bad boy right here. Oh, that's quite true. I like that. That's happy. That's real happy right there. All right, I'm just gonna sticker off. A little bit of WD-40. Little bit of 400 grit. Probably be using, I don't know, denatured alcohol, lacquer thinner, or something else. But I don't feel like doing that. Or the respirator enough today. Just get that. Caring for tools is a beautiful thing. I do love these old ones. Not because they're old, but because when I have them, I'm not going to let it fallow in some collector's box. It's not somebody's beautiful decoration that they leave in their, I don't know, where do people put these? Their den, I guess. I don't even know what a den is. Are dens even a thing these days? I don't know. I'm not keeping up with pop culture and what the kids are doing. Or the old people. Basically just behind entirely. I'll run one more across here. You don't always want to smooth out the bottoms of your planes like this with 400 grit. You can see it's got lines across it. That's supposed to help reduce your friction against the surface of the wood you're working on. I don't need to reduce the friction against the surface of the wood I'm working on. And having it in a straight line like that, not always beneficial, because sometimes you want to go across the grain. I'm going to want to go across the grain with this. So if I take those down a bit, that's not a problem at all. I'm going to run across. Let's get that re-smooth. WD-40 is a good lubricant for doing this with. It's very, very, very light, thin oil, so it lifts stuff very, very well. Now I can still feel a little bit of sticker on there. I'm going to get a fresh shop towel and hit that up. Just a lot of elbow grease in it. All right, one more pass with that sandpaper and oil. Yeah, you got to be careful what oils you use on everything. Whenever I actually just set my tools out, I will just throw a coat of WD-40 on them. WD-40 is not a particularly long-lasting oil when you're looking for rust prevention, but it's real thin and it's got some extra shit in it, what makes it spread out real well and displace any water that might gather on the surface of the tool. So, or any water that is already on the tool. So you do end up with a pretty decent preservative system, or pretty decent preservative oil when you're using WD-40. But if you want something long-term, I'll use a little bit of motor oil or something more specific like the hops oil or, the hops grease. I don't use grease too often because that can get messy. And, well, we all love messy, right? Right. All right, the sole of that's fine. This is just the bench here. A little bit of rust on the sides and some sticker there. I don't intend on going at this with the sides, but as long as it's here, as long as I have it all apart, let's run over these sides with a little bit of this 400, just for the hell of it, pretty much. Maybe remove that top layer of rust. There's that side. I'll get rid of the rest of that tape later. Probably when it gets nicer outside and I can open up the garage. That'll happen later today. Super stoked about that nice weather. Damn, I love nice weather. Yeah, that looks okay. Let's get that rubbed off. Examine this. Actually, I don't think we need to examine the inside. That throat still looks like it's in pretty nice shape. Not worried about it one bit. Handle is on there real tight. I don't know how that handle is secured. That might be glued on there. Yeah, it wouldn't make me sad, but it sure wouldn't make me happy. But let's move on. All right, onto this blade here. You can see it. It's a bit rusty. Just gonna remove it. Do about the same as I did with the sides. I don't need to remove a lot here, I think. A little bit of that rust. There you go. See how smooth that's coming already? It's already shining up pretty much. Careful around that blade. This tool hasn't been used in a long time, but it's probably sharp enough to cut my hand if I go the wrong direction on it. Now, you don't really need to shine up your blade, but I'm doing it just because it's old. It's real old. And I don't want that rust to just be on there forever, ever. Rust begets rust, basically. Once it starts, it doesn't stop. And it looks like it's already started. So if we cut it off at the pass, we'll be happier 6 months, a week, 2 years, decade maybe. No idea how long this thing's gonna last me. I'm assuming it's gonna be a long, long time though. Okay, let's get that rubbed off. Perfect? No. But it doesn't need to be perfect. Just needs to be survivable. It'll still be in my hands, so I'll have a chance to do this quite often. If I need to come back at it, well, I'll come back at it. Okay, that should be good enough. And on to the wet grinder. Alright, we've got it back together. Looks like it's working fine. All I did was cram that in there and give it just a tiny bit of tension. What that means is that this probably isn't where it needs to be. You can see that nasty cant on that blade, even in that good lighting. So, what the plan is find the stupid hammer? Ah, there we go. Shot bat. Shot bat's always around. Let's give this a tap. Tap, 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 tap. Tap, tap, tap. That's about where it is. Tap, tap, tap. See, it looks like it's better now. Let's give it a tiny bit more tension. So I don't screw it up. Just turning that knob under there. Pushing the chip breaker against the blade in 2 places. Let's run this against the corner here. The neat thing about block planes, they're designed to use one hand. It's got that little bump there. You just stick your palm on it. Shoot, 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 shoot. Ooh, that's pulling off shavings crosswise. I got that nice and sharp. Run it with the grain. All right, maybe I need to put more bite on that. We'll find out later, but this is a lot easier if you're not holding a piece of wood with your hand, just so we're all on the same page. A bit of tear out there. That's not unexpected when you're doing a face with a block plane. Ah, nice and thin. Beautiful. All right, now I'm just screwing around. I wonder if I could measure that. That looks like it's got to be about 4 mils wide. Nice. Let's do some more corner. That's fun. This is a good plane now. I'm happy with it. Oh, why are you not focusing, bro?